It's no secret that politicians often live lives vastly different from the rest of us. While the everyday person worries about paying bills and putting food on the table, politicians like Keir Starmer seem to be on a different planet altogether. Recently, Starmer has been under intense scrutiny for his lavish lifestyle, particularly his penchant for accepting a staggering amount of freebies. This isn't about small tokens of appreciation. These are high-value luxuries that raise serious questions about his character. As someone who's supposed to lead the country with integrity, Starmer's behavior is drawing harsh criticism from every corner. Since taking over the Labour Party, Starmer has racked up an eye-popping amount of luxury gifts. We're talking about high-end items like football tickets, designer spectacles, and even tickets to Taylor Swift concerts. These aren't perks most of us would ever dream of, yet for Starmer, they seem to be an almost routine indulgence. This isn't just about the cost, although that's outrageous enough. It's about the sheer volume and frequency of these perks. Starmer tops the list, having accepted more gifts than any other MP and by a long shot. And when people see this sort of behavior, especially in times when the cost of living is sky high and everyone's feeling the pinch, it just looks bad. If you're like most people, you're probably wondering how someone in his position could be so out of touch with the very people he's supposed to represent. After all, Starmer isn't just any politician. He's the leader of a major party and a potential future prime minister. In times of hardship, we expect our leaders to set an example, to show that they understand our struggles and to share in the sacrifices. But instead, we see Starmer indulging in perks that most of us could only dream of. How can he speak for the common man when his actions show that he's more interested in living the high life? And it's not just the freebies themselves that are the problem. The timing of all this couldn't be worse. With a cost of living crisis gripping the nation, people are watching every penny, cutting back on luxuries, and struggling to make ends meet. For many, the idea of splurging on a night out or concert is simply out of reach. Yet here is Keir Starmer enjoying high-end gifts and expensive spectacles, all while telling the rest of us to tighten our belts. It's no wonder that many people feel betrayed by his actions. One man who couldn't hold back his frustration is Adam Brooks, a commentator on GB News. During a recent live broadcast, Brooks unleashed a scathing critique of Starmer's behavior. He didn't mince his words, and his message was clear. Starmer is out of touch and hypocritical. Brooks highlighted the sheer volume of freebies that Starmer has accepted, pointing out that he's taken 2.5 times more than the next highest MP on the list. It's not just a couple of perks here and there. We're talking about thousands of pounds worth of high-end goods. For Brooks and many others, this isn't just a political issue, it's a matter of integrity. How can a man who speaks about fairness and equality justify indulging in such luxury? If he can't resist the allure of free tickets and fancy spectacles now, what else might he be tempted to accept if he ever makes it to number 10? These are serious questions, and they go to the heart of Starmer's character. For many, this is hard to swallow, especially when they're watching their own spending so closely just to get by. Now, if you're wondering what kinds of freebies we're talking about, let's get specific. Some of the gifts Starmer has accepted include luxury spectacles worth nearly £300, tickets to football games, and access to sold-out concerts. And it's not just once or twice. This is a pattern of behavior that dates back years. Since December 2019, the numbers show that Starmer has accepted a total of £7,400 worth of freebies. And it's not just everyday items we're talking about. These are high-end perks that most of us could only dream of. And for a man who earns a six-figure salary, it raises serious questions. For many, this is hard to accept. It's one thing for a politician to enjoy the occasional perk, but it's another to indulge in this kind of luxury while presenting yourself as the voice of the people. It's almost as if he's unaware of how this looks to the average person who's struggling to pay their bills or fill their tank. In fact, it's difficult to imagine how someone in his position could be so disconnected from the everyday realities that the rest of us face. The anger isn't limited to commentators. This discontent is becoming widespread. People from all walks of life are beginning to see through the facade. They're asking, How can a man who's supposed to represent fairness live so lavishly? It feels like a betrayal to those who believed in him, especially the working-class voters who thought he'd be different. They thought they were electing someone who understood their struggles, but now they're seeing someone who seems more interested in enjoying perks than fighting for change. And it doesn't stop there. Recently, Michelle Dewberry also weighed in on this issue. She asked the question that's on a lot of people's minds: does Keir Starmer have no self-respect? She didn't hold back. Dewberry pointed out how absurd it is for someone who earns well over £200,000 a year to still be accepting freebies. And she's right. For a man in his position, it's not a good look. Dewberry called out Starmer for being out of touch and highlighted the absurdity of him relying on others to pay for his personal expenses like those pricey spectacles or football tickets. Her comments hit hard, and they resonated with a lot of people. Many are questioning why Starmer, a man who can certainly afford to pay for his own luxuries, would even want to take these handouts. It's almost embarrassing to watch. It makes him seem out of touch and raises serious questions about his judgment. When someone who's supposed to represent the people is accepting these perks so openly, it's no wonder that trust is starting to erode. If he can't be accountable for his personal spending, how can he be trusted to handle the country's finances? And that's a concern for many. But let's not stop at the freebies. This story takes a darker turn when we look at what's happening with crime and justice under this government. One of the most shocking examples that has come to light recently involves a convicted killer from Uganda. This individual, who brutally murdered someone in the back of an ambulance, won't be deported after serving his prison sentence. Why? Because of concerns over his human rights. This man committed a violent crime that shocked the nation, but due to his mental health condition, he's being allowed to stay in the UK. This case has sparked outrage. How can someone who committed such a heinous crime be allowed to remain in the country? It feels like the system is prioritizing the rights of criminals over the safety of the public. This ruling has left many people feeling disillusioned with the justice system, and it's easy to see why. When you hear about cases like this, it's hard not to feel like something is seriously wrong with the way things are being handled. And it's not just this case. Across the board, people are fed up with what they see as a lack of accountability and fairness. There's a sense that the government is failing to deliver on the things that matter. Whether it's a politician accepting luxury freebies or a violent criminal being allowed to stay in the country, it feels like those in power are out of touch with the reality that the rest of us are living. People are frustrated, and they're reaching their breaking point. And it's not just about Starmer or one politician. It's a widespread feeling that our leaders are living in a different world, far removed from the struggles that ordinary people face every day. It's about the sense that those in power don't have our best interests at heart, that they're more concerned with enjoying the perks of their positions than with making a difference. So, as these stories continue to unfold, it's important for us to stay informed and keep asking the tough questions. Why is there such a disconnect between those who lead and those they are supposed to serve? And how long will the public tolerate this kind of behavior? If you found this video insightful, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more updates. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We're here to bring you the stories that matter, so stay tuned and stay informed. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.